Xolani mayoral candidate and drug-busting TV host Xolani Khumalo is in trouble with the law again. Action SA confirming that he was present when a Nigerian man was shot dead in Windsor East on the East Rand yesterday.
Tensions between South Africans and foreign nationals are increasing. This time, it's specifically between South Africans and Nigerians. This comes after a drug bust in Windsor. But as usual, before I give you my commentary, we're going to get into what South Africans are saying about this.
Action SA has confirmed that its Xolani mayoral candidate, Xolani Khumalo, was involved in a shooting. The shooting was fatal and the victim was a 45-year-old Nigerian national accused of being a drug dealer. Now, someone who claims to be Clement or Mr. Uzo's relative told News 24 that he was not a drug dealer. He was a hard-working businessman who bought cars, repaired them, then sold them for profit.
Guys, in Nigerian men, anti-drug operation ezidla ngokwenziwa nguXolani Khumalo lo Action SA. Now, into surprising apha is that EFF strongly criticize uXolani lo mayoral candidate who took part in the operation. But it's not DJ worries ababulawayo i-suspect zawo zi-foreigners. But zange ndava mna bekhomenta i-EFF ikhupha statement.
Xolani Khumalo, I just want to say thank you. Ndiyabulela butwam, ndiyabulela. For me, I'm grateful. I am grateful for fighting this pandemic. Thank you for fighting this pandemic. You are in our prayers.
How's it? So I'm watching all this story with Xolani Khumalo in Windsor. And everyone's got a lot to say. He's now apparently a bad guy. But let me tell you something. Have you been to Windsor? Huh? In the 90s, my mate lived in Windsor. I had a friend that lived in Windsor. It was a flippin' lacquer place. Clean, great apartments. Students lived there. Yuppies lived there. Cresta was down the road. A flippin' great place. Then this disease moved in there.
Firstly, I'd like to say hands off for Xolani Khumalo. Now, as someone oge wahlala in places like Sunnyside and South Beach Point, I understand the problem esibhekene nayo. You know, there are a lot of powder pushers going about in the street, but that's a criminal issue. We deal with the crime. We don't politicize it. Yabo. Because even some of our people are also selling the same poisons on the street. But I digress. At least Xolani Khumalo was attacking those who he knew were powerful. He was attacking those who were really destroying our community and who we have evidence of them destroying our communities. He wasn't going to hospitals. He wasn't going to schools. So I have great respect for him.
Name one town, city or country that has benefited from vigilantism. I'll wait. Also, when I say I don't know all the details, I'm referring to the fact that all I know is what's been released to the public so far. I wasn't there, so I don't know all the details, and most of us were not there. All we know is what a certain mayoral candidate has released, which is basically that a suspected drug dealer was pew-pewed, and he was there. That's all we know. Oh, and that the drug dealer is a foreign national. But yeah, that's all we know. Until we hear testimony or see footage of what happened, we don't know the details. But anyway, I'll be waiting for your answer regarding where vigilantism has worked. Okay, thanks, bye.
When we tell them, if you want to deal with foreigners, go and deal with the people who hire foreigners. They don't want. They want to deal with the small people. Right now, the big five have been named in the ad hoc committee and in the Madlanga commission. They are quiet. They are quiet about their ministers, who are the ones who are bringing drugs in this country. 200 million rand worth of drugs was taken out by this gang and put onto the streets. They want us to focus on the things that they want us to focus on. We are not going to be defocused. The guy did wrong. You say that the laws of this country must be respected. If the guy did something wrong, he did something wrong. You right now, you tell us as EFF people, Malema did something wrong. You cannot choose when you want the law to favor you and when it should be broken for your own people.
Chief, we want drugs. I know have drug. Stop xenophobia. You are not the police. Stop.
Those were a few polarizing opinions from South Africans about this situation. I think a lot of people do not approach this very sensitive topic with the nuance it deserves. It's very easy to brand all South Africans as irrational xenophobes, but at the same time, there are actual issues occurring in our communities, and unfortunately, some of those issues are perpetuated by foreign nationals. Because of the lack of policing, the lack of border control, and just disorder that we've all become so accustomed to in South Africa, it has created an opportunity for foreigners from all over the globe to come to South Africa and commit crime. An example is a Bulgarian man who was found living in Constantia, a very beautiful suburb in the Western Cape. He was working as a personal trainer despite being wanted by Interpol. He was so brazen that he used his government name. That is how South Africa operates. It is a haven for criminals, not just local ones, but especially international ones too. We literally have criminals from all over the world here. We've got criminals from other parts in Africa. We've got criminals from Europe. We've got criminals from Latin America. We've got them all. And while I understand that vigilantism is not a good thing, at the same time, the system in South Africa gives communities no choice. People feel let down by policing and government to the point where they have to take things into their own hands. And it results in situations like this. And if you're telling people to depend on the police to actually arrest people who commit these atrocious crimes, you're forgetting the fact that the same police you're asking us to rely on are literally getting paid by these powder pushers. They are getting paid. If I go to the police and say, I know this man, he's selling powder, chances are the police already know that man. They're besties. They're on his payroll. So sometimes people make the solution sound simplistic when it's not. And that's why a man like Xolani felt the need to create a show called Sizokuthola, where he confronts these drug dealers. And the truth is, the majority of the drug dealers on his show are Nigerian. That's not to say South Africans don't commit the same types of crime, but it's to say, as South Africans, is it fair that we have to deal with crime from South Africans and from other nationalities all over the globe?
Nigerians come, Nigerians are trending again in South Africa again, in 2026. Nigerians are trending in South Africa again over an alleged drug dealing. They spied one of our Nigerian brothers in Gauteng yesterday on the 7th of February 2026. A Nigerian man was spied. He was unalived. He was shot dead during an operation, anti-drug operation. They killed a Nigerian man. So right now in South Africa, it is very hot. Nigerians are trending again. God have mercy on Nigerians.
A Nigerian man by the name of Clement Uzo was in his car. He was asleep. All of a sudden, he heard commotion around his car, thinking that there was a hijacking in process. We know how car hijacking is very common in South Africa. South Africans like to hijack cars. We know that. But what happened was, at that point, he thought hijacking was in process and his car wanted to run away. He didn't know there was a security operation going on and he was shot dead.
I woke up this morning to a letter that was written by the Nigerian embassy here in South Africa, addressing what happened 2 days ago with the Nigerian guy that was killed, the alleged drug dealer, because it's still alleged until the police can prove it that he was a criminal. But there is something that I would like to say about the character of this guy called Xolani. I've been watching lots of his videos on how he has arrested so many drug dealers, of which 95% of all those people that he arrested were Nigerians. The evidence was there. Camera does not lie. He caught them with drug. Even this guy, I was watching a video by this guy, they call him the arrogant Nigerian. And he confirmed that, yes, that some of them, yes, they get beaten behind the scene. And when they get beaten, they release the drug that they have. So which means that, yes, most of them have drugs and will lie that they don't have drugs.
It's so easy for people who are living in other African countries to say South Africans are xenophobic. And yes, maybe some South Africans are, but just blanketly calling everybody that doesn't really look at the nuance of the situation. In an ideal world, we would all get along and there'd be no conflict. But this is not that world. Unfortunately, we live in South Africa, where crimes go unpunished, whether they're committed by a foreign national or a South African citizen. The fact remains, if we want to create a more united Africa, we have to address the problems happening in South Africa instead of pretending they don't exist.